Thank you guys for coming to another great, powerful episode. We have the wonderful money coach Mary RN and myself, and we are honored today to have our special guest Chris, which, I love this because sometimes, like a horror movie, right? I know what you did last night or last month or whatever it is. I can't remember what it is. And so we've got the question of what's the worst thing you've seen? And so, Chris, I am glad you brought that topic up. And um, tell us a little bit about you and let's dive right in.
Oh, thanks for having me today. Well, first off, I am a flight paramedic, and so that's the preface of that. It's the forbidden question, right? It's the
Correct,
forbidden
it is.
question, and also a financial resiliency coach for first responders. And I loved. I thought that would be fun because everybody wants to ask that question, and it's the one question that you don't ask first responders. And the reason I say it here is because most people think for them it's the worst. It's always going to be some traumatic, gory, bloody thing. And the joke that I would always say to the public is, "What's the worst thing you've seen?" My paycheck, right? That's my that's the joke that I always say. And but honestly, the worst thing, and this is the whole reason I started my business, is seeing really good people drowning, either financially, emotionally, their relationships, um, and watching really good people circle that drain. That was kind of like the worst thing. And then people would be like, oh, disappointed because they want to hear
Yeah, they want
that.
to hear the blood, guts, and gore.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But
They're like, I don't want to see it, but
right,
I want to hear all about it.
I want to hear all about it,
I
which
get the
then, of
same thing.
course, yeah, us, and we're like, yeah, I'm not going to relive my worst day and
Yeah,
actually share that with you. That's personal and private. And then when we do share, um,
right.
that's why I love to work with first responders because they're my people. We speak the
Mhm.
language, right?
Absolutely. When I have a patient family who comes in, and I'm trying to explain, it's so nice when they have the medical background because they don't have to explain everything. Not that
Hmm.
I mind, but I like because they're looking at you like,
Huh?
I just have to say, like my brother, when he went through EMT school. I could look at
Hmm.
his books; it was not an issue. But then he went through paramedic school, and some of the stuff he had to look at, I was like, I couldn't even look at the books, much less the videos he had to watch. It just like it turns you. I mean, you have to be prepared for that, you know?
Yeah, and then nothing really can prepare you for anything.
oh, no.
um, you think that you're getting prepared for the job, and there's just so many other. And even if you prepare, I think for like even law enforcement and fire departments, it's really on the job that you learn all
Absolutely.
the things that you're learning. But then
Sure.
there's a whole section of other stuff that you have no idea how to prepare for, right?
Mhm.
Nothing ever goes according to the book,
No, no. And then
ever.
everything else, once you're like, okay, I'm good at my job, but then there's a million other things that slowly sneak in,
Mhm.
to everything. I do peer support. I'm a big proponent of peer support and just taking care of ourselves
Mhm.
mentally, because the job is physically and mentally difficult. And so
Absolutely.
uh, one of the things I kept seeing over and over again, or hearing over and over again, is uh, I can't I can't afford to take time off work. I can't take care of myself. Wait a minute. There's the stigmatism for being, the stigma about no, I can't do the thing. I don't want people knowing I'm getting help. But then the other side of it is like, oh, I can't even afford to do it.
Mhm. Yep.
And the
And
whole analogy is you got to put the mask on first before you can help someone else. And we live our life in such a way, partying, destroying our life, we destroy ourselves when we're younger, and then when we get wiser, it's like, oh shoot, we have to fix ourselves before we wreck ourselves.
Yeah.
And some people forget to fix themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, we also have a tendency to, once you deal with the environment and you see people ill, or you deal with death and dying and things like that, you realize, most people are like, oh, life is fragile. Yes, life is fragile. And then you have a respect for it, but it also can tell you, you can also do oh, if I'm going to play hard, work hard, I'm going to play harder, and I'm going to we can have a bit of a skewed,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to
Yeah.
do everything right now because life is too short, and then
Mhm.
too much. And I'm like, but there is the balance, because I make the joke, I don't ever want to be a GoFundMe,
Right, exactly.
I don't want to be the GoFundMe. I want to make sure that I'm also preparing in case I do live a long life, and that's why we want to take care of ourselves,
Right.
the whole working out, eating right, all those things. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, I
Yeah.
didn't prepare for a couple other things.
Right there. Oh. That snuck up.
Yeah, usually you're like, it's funny because I think I've been through the burnout phase,
Yeah.
the burnout cycles, the burnout things, and it's, usually not necessarily the worst thing you've ever seen. It's more of cumulative, right? All
Oh, yeah.
the death by 1,000 paper cuts,
It's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Mm-hmm.
It's the rest of the straws were fine. It was that one final one,
Yeah.
and that's all it took was one little itty bitty straw.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
we allow this stuff to pile up because we think, yeah, that's going to happen to someone else. It's not going to be me until it's you.
And we take care of everybody.
Yeah.
We're the
Yep.
ones who are either coming in and clearing the scene,
Right.
and or taking care of everybody else's emergency, everybody else's crisis. We're the strong ones. We're the ones who are always prepared. And it's hard to need help on something, or think that you have to take care of yourself in that way.
Mm-hmm. And I brought this up in one of my networking meetings. So I give my little elevator pitch, and then I ask like a question, just kind of get people's attention. And I was like, so who thinks the hardest thing to do is ask for help? Every hand in the room went up. And I said, and who thinks it's even harder to ask for help with your money? And the hands shot up farther. I'm like, and that's why I do what I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I help you make your paycheck work for you instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, oh, oh.
Well, everybody, I mean, most of the time, what you hear about money,
Yeah.
for one, I'm glad that people like mental health are talking about money. I mean,
Yes.
May
Yes.
is Mental Health Awareness Month, and like I said, this is EMS week
That's
also.
right.
But most people's first comment is, I either need to make more money, or where did the money go, right? Those are the two things you hear the most of. I need to make more money, or I make good money, but where did it all go?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I'm all about the systems thing. I help teach people systems and the mindset behind things, because you could read another book, we can listen to podcasts, you can do all that. But I would say one of the things I talk about, I'm a field training officer at work. I love training and teaching other flight medics and things. And I was on the ambulance, I did the same thing. And so I'm like, okay, that's what I do. I'm a financial FTO.
Yeah.
I come alongside you, I walk with you, I teach you how to do it, and give you the actual tools to do it. Not just like, oh, do X, Y, and Z and move on, and you're on your own.
Right. And the thing is, you can watch another podcast, you can read another book, but unless you have the accountability or the self-discipline,
Mm-hmm.
nothing's going to happen.
No.
Now, Chris, are you a Star Wars fan?
So what? It's funny because you go, are you a Star Wars or a Trekkie?
No, I just said Star Wars.
But
The great separator of people,
yes, uh,
like
well,
Coke and Pepsi.
I'm old Star Wars.
Yes,
The
the
original
original
Star
three.
Wars.
So
Yes.
one thing, I love the analogy of Star Wars, right? I'm Yoda, and you are Luke Skywalker coming to me, and I'm going to guide you on your path.
Yes.
That's what we are as coaches. We are the guide. We're not the champion. You're the champion. You know.
Yes.
So I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I love Yoda because in the original first one, which is the new one, two, three, is a new four.
Yeah.
Um, but Yoda, all you do is see him on the path,
Correct.
and Luke Skywalker comes to him, gets guidance, and then keeps going. You know, in the original one, you didn't see much of Yoda. You knew he was who he was, and you knew about him, but you didn't see much of him.
Yeah.
That's what a
I
coach
love
is.
I love the like I said, field training officer, the guide, the helper, not the one doing it for somebody,
Hmm.
but then helping them be able to do it. Because trauma trauma changes
Yep.
the way you look at a lot of things.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize, I mean, money is a foundation of so much. It kind of has its little fingers in everything that we do. And trauma being on the one side of it, it's like it changes like how you spend or how you look at money or how you're viewing it, how you're except how you're saving it, or are you spending it all? Are you how is trauma affecting you and your money? And I love to like have those conversations and like even make people even think about it. It's like,
Mhm.
wow, I never thought about it that way.
Um,
But personality wise, you're always going to hear a lot of type A personalities are in first responder fields, which is true, but there's some B's in there. But we have a tendency to spend a lot of times the same way or look at things the same way, and which can be a double-edged sword. So one, you fit into the group, right? But maybe you don't need the big truck or the boat or the RV or the toy too quick, too fast, and not planning for your future, right? Because retirement's going to come someday, and nothing's worse than I'm on the closer into retirement and I wasn't prepared, right?
right. And having to go to work at Walmart because you can't make ends meet.
Yeah. I don't want to
It's
be a
really
Walmart greeter. I'd be
don't want
terrible.
to be a me too. I'm like, don't be stupid. Get out of here.
Yeah, I need a warning label. I have a bad potty mouth sometimes, and so I'd be terrible at that job.
Well, I have to say this funny story. So, speaking of Walmart, right? There was a time I went in there and they were being very strict. You had to have certain things in order to come in, otherwise you wouldn't even be able to go in. So I told them I had um, CSS, and they were dumbfounded. They were like, "What's that?" Well, at first they didn't say anything. They were just like, "Oh, okay." Well, on my way out, a manager came and was like, "You have what?" "I have CSS." "Well, what is it?" "Common sense, stupid." Man, I got
Thank
in
God it was
so
on.
much trouble.
Thank God it was on the way out, not on the way
Right.
in.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have let me in. But the person that was there didn't know how to act to it. They were just like, "Oh," so they called the manager, and the manager decided to kind of like wait for me. But I'm already leaving, so it's okay.
Yeah, you'd be like, I was thinking, I was like, I go, it's got to stand for, yeah.
My mind went somewhere else.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's the kind of guy I am, right? I'm gonna be like bold. I'm gonna be kind of like catch you off guard. I'm gonna throw things through you that like, huh?
Yeah, I'm all about, like I said, guiding people, teaching people. I'm all about resiliency in this job. It's like, what are you doing to build your resiliency? Um, because first responders, like I said, are a different breed where the stuff that we see and deal with on a daily basis. So you usually have a higher resiliency. But again, when we talk about that taking care of yourself thing, making sure that you get enough sleep, that you stay I mean, these basic things that you would think, oh, this is such common sense, but we forget sleeping well, hydrating, eating the right foods. Because I know when I work 24-hour shifts, and in the middle of the night when I'm up, I crave, of course, the caffeine, the sugar.
Sure.
My guilty pleasure is my cup of noodles. That's so terrible. Too much salt, but I love my
A lot of
noodles.
sodium in those.
I know there's so much sodium, but I'm like, I need my cup of noodles because I need to stay
Right.
hydrated, which makes me drink more water.
Right. It does.
So I have to
Then,
ask.
then you've got the osmosis bond in there, and you go, okay.
So you
Yeah.
have really intrigued me with your job and everything like that. I am really intrigued. So I'm going to ask you a very tough question, and I hope I can take the answer. But I'm going to ask you the topic. What is the worst thing you've seen? And being you, you've probably seen some pretty bad stuff. So what's the worst thing that you've seen?
Well, I can't give people nightmares. But you know what? That's just it. It's funny because perspective wise, what is upsetting is not what's upsetting to other people, like what people or what you're going to think it is. It is seeing other people hurting when other people aren't prepared for what's happening. Seeing families, because it's like everybody's life touches another, and seeing the effect of one person's even if it's just an illness, or not even trauma, it could just be a medical illness or injury or something that happens, and seeing how that one thing touches everybody else
Yeah.
in a positive or a negative. What if it's the family member who's the breadwinner? And now everybody's like, how are we going to pay for this illness? How are we going to manage life? What if that's the person who makes all the decisions in the family? Whether the worst case scenario is when people don't survive. Now, how do we bury this person? How do we put that together? I talked about the GoFundMe's or all the different ways, those kind of things. Watching that, and nowadays, social media is so big that if it's a big enough event, it's in the paper and it's all the things. And then now you get to see directly how somebody's life has affected somebody else. So most people would say, oh, the worst thing is probably the mainstream people. That's probably something that's totally gory, right? Or they always say it's something that happened to a child. That's because that's to them, that's probably the worst thing they could imagine, right? But
Right.
really, it's the loss of, or just the destruction or disruption of a family unit or a community. To me,
Yeah, absolutely.
that would probably be like one of the most tragic things. And then on the first responder side, the worst thing is seeing someone, a first responder, get stressed, get burned out, take with try to hold on to everything, and losing relationships because that divorce is so high. And then the ultimate worst thing, and then there's tons of you're seeing more and more people being taken out of the job because they're having heart attacks or strokes on duty because we're working longer.
Yeah.
You used to retire younger, in fire departments and police departments. It used to be 3% at 50 around in California out here. Now the age is 57, 59. People are staying longer. Pensions aren't as good as they used to be. Or people, they're switching to 401ks where now they have to do more of your own, and people aren't saving enough. And so they're staying in the job longer. So they're having strokes, they're having heart attacks because of stress and all the cortisols that affect us, and or the issues, the physical or the mental side of it, and suicide.
Mhm.
That's ultimately the worst.
And I've seen that because like back in the day, and I say all the time, we got away with murder back then. Not really, but I mean, we didn't have social media. I mean, we didn't really have hardly anything. We didn't have cameras. Now everybody has cameras. Everybody has social media. Now it's crazy. And there was no such thing as bullying back then. Somebody picked on you, you picked on them, right? You fought back. And you actually were in a competition. Now we lost all that.
Mhm.
Now bullying in school is a huge thing. You can't say the wrong thing, you know? And so it really opens the door to, there's been a lot more things like that, suicides and all that kind of stuff, because people just don't want to deal with it and they don't know how to,
Yeah.
you know? So my next follow-up question would be, since you've discussed a few of these things, these crazy things we don't want to see, how do you deal with it?
Well, like I said, peer support side of things, uh, talking, talking to people you can trust,
Mhm.
and the resources that are there. I've been in EMS for 39 years.
Wow.
I started when I was 19, just out of high school. So, seeing and dealing with things. And thank goodness the industry is changing so much. Like before, it was like suck it up, buttercup,
Mhm.
that whole thing. And if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. That kind of mental attitude, and that's starting to go away. Thank goodness.
Right.
Um, and so there's more resources available, and so it's like talking to people, talking to the right people,
Mhm.
and where then when you're with your people, you start, you're swapping stories in general. That is just so good, cathartic, to share just experiences with somebody, and it just really helps move and normalize what you're seeing and what you're going through. And then, like I said, there's practicing resiliency. It is, if you're not sleeping, that's not a good thing to do. It's not sleeping. And of course, the EMS side, 24-hour shifts and all that kind of stuff, your sleep patterns get all messed up, but you have to try to sleep as best you can. You have to eat the better foods. You need to exercise. Exercise is huge. Eating the right, good gut health kind of food, hydration, practicing your faith is really important. Practicing gratitude, resiliency with money. That's why I love the money side of things. So I do the financial resiliency thing, making sure that you are able to be in a financial place so that it doesn't stress your life out, so that you can go do those fun things, and enjoying interacting with people on and off duty, and keeping relationships, having that conversation. Just, I would say, normalizing a lot of it's huge.
Mhm.
Mary, what did you see in the hospital side of things?
Agreed. You know, I've been guilty of working way more than I should, have been guilty of the burnout and without having the support. And that was hard. And so, like you said, Chris, finding those people that you can commiserate with, who understand what you see and what you go through, and, you know, hold you in the hall when you're crying, because we do it. As we've held the hand of someone who died, a lot of
Hmm.
times we've got in the hall and that's what we do.
Yep.
And agree. I have best gig ever because my job is now from home. So I'm no longer at the bedside because I'm on the closer end to the retirement too. I'm like, leave that to the younger people. And so I miss part of that because I don't have that camaraderie with the people I had on the floor. It's not the same camaraderie over Zoom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We still have it, and when we get together, it's great, but we all don't do it a whole lot.
Yeah.
Well,
Self-care is huge.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. And we're the
self-care is,
last, we take care of ourselves
I,
last if we
I
do.
know. And then moms on top of it, being a mom in EMS can even be, you're like taking care of the family at home, then taking care of everybody at work,
Right.
and it can be
Right.
even more exhausting. Giving yourself a break, giving yourself permission,
For sure.
I think is huge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we don't. I mean, because we put ourselves dead last all the time. And sometimes we're dead.
Yeah, and it's just not, it's not healthy, it's not good.
No.
It takes a long time, and that's why, like, I feel we've all seen the burnout person in the business, and that's the person we need to make sure that is getting the right help, because they're not the person that you want to be influencing everybody else, and you definitely don't want them to be the face forward in thinking everybody's like that.
Right.
I've been through my burnout. I've come back from it multiple times, and it's possible to come back. There's no reason. A quote that somebody that I really respect, their pain is inevitable, but suffering's a choice, is what she says. And nobody has to suffer. And coming back from it, now you have post-traumatic growth. So now you're on the other side, grabbing as many people as you can and pulling them over, saying, hey, you can get through this.
Yes.
And being that guide for them to get them through to the other side.
Let's lock arms and go through this together.
Yeah, exactly. Is amazing. It doesn't mean that you won't maybe dip down and go through some stuff again, but you can get through it again.
Right.
And you're stronger up on the other side, and just giving that hope and that doorway for people to see.
Oh,
Hey,
absolutely.
come on up. I'm gonna walk alongside you. Let's go.
Yeah. The same thing has happened in nursing too, because it's always the thing, the nurses eat their young. And when I first came out of nursing school 30 years ago, that I saw that happening. And that has changed as well, to where it's like, look, why do we have to do this? Just because it was always done that way, why does that behavior have to continue? What if we flip the script to embrace and teach instead of condescending and alienating? And so that has changed, and it's nice.
What I love about it is actually what I didn't realize all along was, and I wasn't just teaching, and what being a coach in my business has done for me has made my job even better, because now I've really brought that coaching mentality, the mindset of growth, to my job. And I would say work is even better these last couple of years. These last years, as my coaching business has grown, and because as a coach, you realize that, wow, the growth mindset, there's no ceiling on it. You can continue to learn and learn more, change your mindset, learn something new, and it doesn't mean you're getting rid of old things that are like actually holding you back. They might have helped you survive, but they're not helping you thrive, right? And so that has been huge. So I'm like, at work now, I would say I've always been like try to be a teacher and that kind of thing, but now I feel like I'm more of a coach at work too.
Sure.
And that's huge. And for me mentally, when I'm exhausted, I'm like, it's helped me even maintain that. So I'm
Absolutely.
like, amazing.
Yeah, I think it does. Coaching does spill over into every part of your life because, like you said, you get that mentality, and you're going to treat everybody and every situation as let's learn and let's grow. We're not going to act like we're the best and we're the ones who know everything, because nobody knows everything.
Right.
And you don't want to come off like that.
I think what you said about the kind of like, you're not hazing, but it's putting, you're like, when I came on, I
Mhm.
had to be put through crap, and now somebody else is here and I'm going to make sure they go through crap because now I'm the top dog and I'm not at the bottom and I want to shit on everybody else below me. Excuse my French.
Right,
So,
exactly.
right. Well, now what you realize is, I think all of us want to try to be the best person that we can be, like the best version, the best at whatever job you're doing, right? But you learn as a coach, that guide, David, that you said, when you guide somebody else, I touch way more people, not just from the person I was guiding, but every single person, like I said before, everybody's life touches somebody
Ripple
else.
effect.
When you're the guide, you touch so many more people. And I realized that, oh my gosh, I thought I was being super honest and helpful to people, really being, hard on somebody or hard on myself. And I'm like, wow, I could do so much more by just being better and having a growth mindset, helping one more person so they can then help somebody. Just,
Yeah.
it's a completely different, and I see that more in the industry. Yeah. And I'm seeing it more in some leadership, which is,
Huge.
and yeah, and even considering going up leadership, the people that are like, I never do that because I don't want to be that guy. No, now you can influence more people.
Hmm.
That
Absolutely.
that's awesome. To me, that's just like it's like, wow, why did I take so long to learn some of these lessons?
Yeah.
You can't fault yourself for something that it took this long to learn. You
Now
did
we're
not
like,
know.
right. And now it's like, okay, I try to stay calm because I'm an ADHD person, right? And super excited. I'm like, no, trying to help everybody, going, wait a minute, don't make the mistakes I made, right? Don't do what I did.
Right.
How do you guys bring that to your coaching business without trying to say, vomit the whole entire story at once? But
Of course, we're in the medical field. We're going to talk about puke.
yes.
As we do that.
Yep.
So, in other words,
Over
what you're
there.
telling me is you're going to take the mess and make it into a message.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
Anything I
I
like
love
to
that.
do, and people that know me know I love humor, right? So I like to take your lemons. I like to make lemonade, add a splash of humor to make a cocktail of resilience.
Mm,
I like that.
I do too.
A million other things ran through my mind, and I was like, I can't say any of those because there's, yeah, EMS humor, dark, foul language, vodka, added lemons.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the
And
funny thing
talk
is
about a cocktail.
that's
So
that's
I
one
know.
of the
I'm
things
like,
that I do in coaching is sometimes if you go dark, right? I learned from a great coach, and I do this as well. So what's the absolute worst that can happen? No, I mean worse than that. No, I mean worse than that. What's the absolute worst? You die, right? That's the worst. Well, you're probably not going to die, so we've got one there. What's the next worst thing that can happen? Lose an arm or something like that. Okay, that's probably not going to happen. So we've already knocked two things off the thing. Now we can go back into like more reality, but we've already knocked the dark things off, and they're already starting to feel good because it's like, okay, so it's not going to be the
oh,
worst thing.
yeah.
So I do take it dark sometimes, but I don't stay there long, and I bring it back, and it's just to show them that it's not that bad.
exactly. I mean, taking the first step, whenever I talk with people like that are reaching out, I'm always like, I thank people for being, I'm very transparent and I share a lot. Um, again, so that people can go, oh yeah, it can't be that bad. She survived it, and look at all her mistakes, right? And now things are looking pretty good over here. um, but it's like, I thank people for
Mm-hmm.
being honest, for being open, for being willing to change, for being willing to even broach the subject,
Yeah.
and giving permission
Mhm.
for that. That, I think that's big.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely it is.
Yep.
Because the last thing we want to do is, as humans, we don't want to admit that we made a mistake or that we messed something up because we're so afraid that people are going to look down on us.
Mm-hmm.
And once we change that mindset of like I tell my clients, I'm like, look, nobody's been more done with dollars than me. So I've got nowhere to judge. I've got nowhere to shame. There's none of that going to come out of me.
Mhm.
And they'll be like, oh, I learned. It sucked for a while. I'm not gonna lie. As you're doing this, it's gonna suck for a while. But being on the other side makes it all worth it.
Mhm. Yep.
I think being adults is hard for getting the mindset around being a lifetime learner, because children, we send them to school and they're always like trying to learn something and not getting it quite right, and we're
Tell
always
me more.
encouraging, oh, you're learning, it's okay, just keep trying, and trying, a different avenue, a different way of learning. As an adult, we usually get very good at doing our job, the strive to get there. And when you achieve that, and maybe you're really good at your job, or you're really good at taking care of whatever it is, you're good at it. When we find things that we're not good at, or that are difficult, we punish ourselves more than we would a child or someone
Right.
else,
Right.
or we quit and we're like, I don't like how that feels. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to go do something else.
Right.
And it's like, no, giving permission to try something. Okay. Like when I'm working with clients, there is no one exact way that I say, oh, we have to do it exactly this way. I'm like, well, we're going to try this. What part about that did you like? What part about that did you not like? What part worked? What part didn't? We're
Right.
going to adjust, and then we're going to try something else. We're not throwing it all out.
Right.
And we're going to try something new. And it's not like this or that. It's both and then we're going to add on a little something else to that, and discover for ourselves. Because again, trying something new it's awkward, it's hard, it's painful. Figure out number one, why is it worth it? Right? Why
Right.
is it worth the change? And going through that, and then putting them in a position where, yeah, no judgment. Let's try it out. Okay, we didn't like, well, that one didn't work,
Right. It didn't work.
with some humor, right? David, would have some humor to it, and then be like, okay, so let's pivot and let's try something else.
Yep.
I think
That's
as a
right.
first responder, it's harder too, because number one, there are certain things in our job we better be very good at, or people will literally die,
Right.
or get hurt or something, or we get hurt, or we hurt a coworker. And I think we are looking at things through our lens is a little maybe off a bit in all the
Right.
other areas, and we need to lighten up a bit in some areas that, like you're saying, okay, what's the worst that could happen in this scenario? Sometimes it is life and death, but sometimes it's not. And I think we
Well,
have the extreme.
right. Right. And you know, I've come back on people saying they're like, well, this isn't going to work. What if it does?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, and just that break. And they can actually imagine for a second, oh, wow, if this does work, yeah,
How many times have you said, boy, if I would have started that, I mean, if I would have started doing what I'm doing now
right,
in my, well, if I would have started what I do now in my 20s, I wouldn't even be here right now. You know why?
correct.
Because I would be a multimillionaire, retired, in a resort, on a beach, living my best life. Okay. And,
Gotcha.
but again, you can't, the best time to start, of course, well, they always say a long time ago or right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm going to get older. I'm going to things are going to be different. Time is always going to go by. And it's like, okay, but let's do it today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it now.
Right.
Let's make the change.
Yeah, I had one
Yeah.
investment, and if I don't really talk too much about investments and stuff, but I had this one investment. I invested $300, and it sat there for 4 years. I pulled out 3,000. If I would have left it in the same spot right now, today, I would have over $43,000.
Mm.
And every
Wow.
single time I shoot myself in the foot, it's like, why did you pull out? Things always increase, So it's like whenever you pull out, you're always going to lose. And you're going to wish you didn't pull out. Even when things go down, they come back up, And it's
Ups
like,
and downs.
why do we make these mistakes sometimes? We all make mistakes. We all have mistakes. Nobody has lived life without a mistake. I once thought I was perfect. No, I thought I was perfect, and I once thought I made a mistake, but I realized I didn't make a mistake, right? We all make mistakes. That's just life.
Say that to my husband all the time. There was one time I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is,
I get the side eye.
if you think back to some of the biggest lessons that you learned,
Sure.
did you learn them the easy way, or did you learn them? You learned from mistakes, and you grew.
Right.
We grow. I mean, growth comes usually when things are difficult. Resiliency is built from being pushed back and getting back up, and pushing back and getting back up. It's resiliency. I believe anybody can have resiliency. It is something that's built and practiced.
Well, and we've all heard fail forward. We learn by making mistakes. Now, I learned this new phrase, and we should always be learning, right? But do you know what failure means? First attempt in learning. Fail. First attempt in learning. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, I'm stealing that. That's going to be a good one. Because that is so true. That's exactly what failure is. It's not a failure. It's a learning experience, so we don't do that again.
Yeah, changing the mindset around it. You think about some of the most successful people, and even my own successes. When people look at those, most people will see those, and they only see you when you're at the top, right? Or when it's big. They weren't there for all the other ups and downs. And some of the most successful people were the people who just persevered in spite of, they kept pushing or trying a new way or trying this or trying that. They just didn't quit, and the same thing for us. You just, okay, well, I'm going to try this now, and I'm going to keep going and keep pushing forward, giving ourselves permission to go, okay, well, that one didn't work this time. I'm going to,
scratch that one, try another one. Yeah. And to take that, like you said, as a lesson, saying, I don't like why we have the rear view mirror. I don't want to do that again. I'm going to look out my windshield at my horizon because I want to see where I want to go. And that's beautiful.
One of the biggest things I love when I'm first coaching people, just the first session, my jumping off session that I do with people, no matter how bad the situation is, let's just say there's tons of debt or the numbers just don't line up. And we know as coaches that money's more than the numbers. That's why my company's called Beyond the Numbers. But the clarity, the peace that comes with clarity, even if it's like, even if the picture isn't like, oh, this is where I want to be right now, just knowing where somebody actually is, they're like, okay, this doesn't look good, but you know what? I feel better now because it's clear and I have a plan.
Yeah.
And so addressing anything, whether it's a physical ailment, a mental injury, financial, no matter what it is, getting whoever you can talk to get the clarity about what is going on. My head's not in the sand. I know what's happening. Okay, I can now come up with a plan. The amount of stress that just kind of like goes away, and now that you have a few more tools in your toolbox, it's like that in itself is peace. Even before you've actually started to implement them, knowing that you now, okay, there is a path forward.
That awareness is just huge. Being able to recognize, hey, I don't want to do this again. This didn't get me the result that I wanted. So I'm going to do this instead and see what happens. And being able to have that self-awareness and being able to look at things with that discerning eye and know hey, that's not it. But that's not the end. We're going a different path.
Yeah. I love the, I used to think, okay, what's my future self going to do right now in this moment? Are they going to kick my butt? Because they're going to be like, girl, when you were right there at the precipice, and you thought, I'm going to do this or not, right? And my future self's like, you should have done it then. Why, right?
Yeah, I say all the time, if I could go back in time with the information I know now, I'd be a billionaire. I'd do things a lot different.
Same.
But then I can say, this is the thing. Not because we can't go back in time, but it's like, okay, but why would we do anything different? Because that means we need to do it right now, today. And sometimes we don't now, and we still don't do it, right?
Yep.
So it's like, no, if you went back in time, you'd make the same damn mistakes because you're not changing right now. So why would you, if I put you back in your you'd just be I'd be a younger, hotter, fitter version of myself, still making the same mistakes. Because otherwise I'd be doing it today.
Right. And that's when it comes in too. A lot of people think, well, it's too late.
Never too late.
But what if it isn't? What small change can you make today to affect your future?
Yep.
And not a big overall.
And that's why everybody that's successful has a coach. Celebrities, famous people, they have at least one or two coaches, right? Because a coach is going to push you to that next level. They're going to take you out of your comfort zone. They're going to push you to your limits and past because they can see you. Well, we get scared. Well, we're coming up to the limit. I can't go close there because I don't know if I want to. I don't want to fall. But when there's somebody there pushing us, they can take us right up to the line where we're not going to fall over.
Yep.
So every successful person has at least one coach.
And I'm always saying, important. In different seasons in your life, they're different coaches.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
They're different coaches at different seasons, at different times. And it's the same thing. A coach, a therapist, a counselor, someone to help get you further, better, bring out the best in you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, helping you see the version of you that they see. Yep. And helping you realize that can be true. You don't think because you're all up in the thick of it.
Right.
This is never going to happen. But you get a good coach that says, oh yeah, this, let's keep imagining. And let's break that cycle. And let's go. What if it does work?
And that's why you said, David, how do you get through it? You find your tribe, you find someone that can see the path that maybe you can't see, but you trust that they do see it, and you start doing the things. I love the quote. What is it? The journey of a 1,000 miles starts with one step, Yeah, I can't even imagine wanting to, work that marathon or whatever it happens to be, but you don't start at the end. You start at the beginning with the vision of the end. And
you keep that vision in your mind so that you don't fall off and quit before you reach it.
Yeah, I love the story. This guy, he had a coach. And the coach pushed him and pushed him. Oh, you can do it, and stuff like that. He gets up for the race, and his coach ain't around. He's like, where was my coach? See, my coach don't even believe in me. He's not even here. So he runs the race anyhow. And he starts getting worried. My coach doesn't even believe in me. Why am I even doing this? Who even cares? And he's about ready to give up. Then all of a sudden on the side, he sees a car. And he sees a guy standing right on his roof, not his roof, his hood of his car. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And he's like, that's my coach. Right at the point when he was going to fail, his coach was positioned there at the time he needed him to give him that extra push. He made the race the rest of the way. That's the biggest key. Knowing when and where you need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Positioning.
Mm, key.
That's great. I like that. I definitely like that. The
Mhm.
whole if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to
Yep.
go far, go
Go with
together.
somebody. Yep.
I love that one. That's those two. They're both walking and I like hiking, but I'll tell you, I'm not a marathoner. I'm not a runner. I'm not doing either one of those, but I will walk. Both my quotes. I love
You
that.
know what team means? 'Cause you know there's no I in
Together.
team.
Yeah, it's a together. What we achieve.
Everyone achieves more.
Yeah, that's. I'm like, what is it? You see, you're in the hospital. They got those signs posted up all over the place.
Honey, I'm in my office downstairs in my dungeon now. I've been I don't go near the hospital.
Yeah, all the big
Never seen
signs with all the
that sign in a
quotes.
hospital though.
They have them in like the break rooms and stuff.
Oh yeah,
All
they're all
uh,
over the place.
yeah,
Oh, the
those are
places where I
all.
don't go.
Yeah, the break rooms
You're not
and
allowed.
yeah, that kind of stuff.
Well, I guess it's there to give you guys encouragement, but we're not supposed to see the encouragement you guys get.
Mm-hmm.
It's private.
Yeah, exactly.
You're on the need to know.
Well, I need to know. No.
You don't need to know.
We're in the circle. We're in the circle. We're in the message of groups
Right.
together.
Right.
We know all the
Right.
secret squirrel stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, crazy. Oh, I love it. Thank you guys. I had fun talking about all this stuff. This has been great.
I'm so
So
glad
we've
that you
talked about what is the worst thing you've ever seen. I want to flip the script now. What's the best thing you've ever seen?
Oh my gosh. Like in my career, in my what? Just
Yes.
Well, the
Whatever.
question was just general. The
Yeah.
topic is
Whatever
general.
you
The question is general. So where do you want to take it? What's the best you've ever seen?
gosh, I mean, there's so many things that are wonderful. I mean, it could be something as small as watching your kids grow. I'm expecting my first grandbaby here in another week and a half. So I can't wait. Super excited for that. I can only imagine. I remember the birth of my kids. So it's like, okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Watching, I mean, the sunrise another
Now,
day.
I do have to say, and you'll probably agree with me, watching a kid get older is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it's awesome to see them growing. It's a curse because you realize, wait, I'm getting old,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you
We're not
know?
Yeah.
getting
Nobody, yeah. I'm like a fine wine. I'm getting
right.
better with age, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's so funny. Like, what's the best thing? I mean, I could have the best client experience, the best patient but there's always a new one to come along,
Mhm.
right? I mean, until it ends, there's always a new best something.
Yeah.
What is your best client experience?
I've had some amazing clients. And when I started coaching, what I thought coaching was not what it is.
Right. Absolutely.
And any good coach is going to say, yeah, what I thought I was going to do was help people. I was going to help them set up a budget and da da da.
Yeah.
And yeah, do we have those moments inside of it? But that's not watching people transform,
Mhm.
where somebody believes in themselves again, where
Sometimes for the first time.
yeah, where in a relationship where maybe a marriage was on the wrong path and that they were not going to think that they were going to stay married anymore, maybe even. They didn't see the hope of that, and now their communication. I've had people say, "You saved our marriage."
Yep.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, you saved your marriage. I was like I said, David, I'm the guide. I helped show you what you had all along, right? And gave you some tools and gave you some systems and things that work. But you guys did the hard work. But
Yeah.
seeing that, watching people be able to take an amazing vacation, and I don't mean just a vacation, but something that was deep and personal to them, because that's just it. Nobody's path is exactly the same.
Right.
Watching on the coaching side, watching someone live their value and being able to
Yeah.
financially,
Huge.
whether and that could be, and it's no one's going to ever say it's the same experience.
No.
Because what is value, how we value something to our own selves, what's an experience that we'll never forget, or something we were able to do for ourselves or for somebody, it's going to be different for each person. But watching that happen for people, that's been amazing.
Yeah. Well, and I would stretch you one level and say the best thing ever is the client you're about to get. Because the things you're going to do with that new client, because we should always go better and better and better. So the best thing ever is the next client. And speaking of which, I want to mention we actually have another podcast coming starting next month. It's going to be a debating podcast. This podcast is not going away, but there's going to be an additional one about debating. And so it's always going to be the fourth Monday of every month, and you won't want to miss the next one coming up. So you definitely want to be on fire for that. The next thing I
Nice.
want to mention is on Fridays, we have a group for all coaches, any type of coach. This is just a hangout place. Um, get things off your chest, kind of relieve things, kind of just enjoy life. And it's relieve the stress and enjoy, kind of hear some stories from other coaches. And this is just like a debrief, right? And that's every Friday, 2:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 Central. So make sure you're there because you're going to love it. And we also want to mention we are honored, Chris, that you were here. We thank you so much for coming here. And I know you want to talk to us, let us know a little bit about what you do and how we can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so you're going to have all the information available on my website. And I actually have a podcast called Budgets for Badges that I co-host. And we talk all things money from the side of a first responder, and my co-host is the spouse of a first responder. So it's kind of like sitting around the table listening to us talk about all things money and the stresses that come along with it. And my website, then I have a couple freebies there. My break the overtime trap, because I want everybody to work as much as they want to and not have to do overtime just to maintain your life. So,
But that's a good one.
mm-hmm.
Check that out.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I'm
her
all
link
about
is in
that.
the description below, so you guys make sure you
Yep.
check it out. Mary, did you have any final words?
Well, I know Chris probably thinks the same thing, but y'all just need to do the dang thing. Am I right?
Yep.
My tagline. You just got to do the dang thing.
Yeah. Do the